Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Alcazaz, aka the Bear of Texas, aka the Texas Gaming Bear. Hope everybody is doing well today, and I have another video game that I like to discuss. Well, obviously, y'all know what I'm talking about since I'm assuming y'all saw the title. But you know what's funny? I never played this game, yet I have an incredible amount of experience with Dirty Harry. I love the Dirty Harry film series. As a matter of fact, it's my favorite series of movies of all time. Yeah, that's right. Even though I am a James Bond fanatic, I consider the Dirty Harry series my ultimate favorite because I'm a huge fan of Clint Eastwood. And honestly, I had seen many of Clint Eastwood's films before I saw the Dirty Harry films. The Dirty Harry films are my favorite work of Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood has done so much in the cinema industry in the United States and, of course, around the world. You know, as I talk about the original Dirty Harry game, as a matter of fact, I have a copy of it right here. Now, this is not a sealed copy, but this is actually one that's been opened, but everything's in it. And actually, it's in very pristine condition. That's why I was actually able to accept it. Now, I'm sure that I can go on eBay and find a sealed copy, but then again, as I asked in the first episode I did of this particular series of this channel about buying sealed games on eBay, well, some people have said, Alex, it's not a very good idea. Some have said, well, Alex, some of those sellers are 100% legitimate, and those games are, in fact, legitimately sealed. So, it's honestly a test of luck. But again, do you really want to take that risk online? When it comes to buying sealed video games, you might as well do it in person. But sometimes when you are desperate, and I mean desperate to add to your collection, and you know that you cannot find it in person, I feel like I am going to lose my mind, and I'm just going to say, damn it, I need to get it done. I need to get it done quickly. I'm going to go on eBay and do it. Now, I've been on eBay. I've come across some sellers that do sell legitimately sealed games, but, well, the skepticism still kicks in because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And I feel like the risk is sometimes too much, but sometimes it's damn near worth it. So take a look at it once again. Here it is. Again, on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I really love, like, you look at the back, especially like in the description right here. Man, if I'm correct, I believe the plot of this video game, of this Dirty Harry video game, I believe it takes place after the events of the first film. As a matter of fact, according to some research, the game itself takes place basically in a plot, well, in a setting and a plot. Obviously, the setting is San Francisco. I mean, that's where Dirty Harry is. The story takes place in an event, basically in a time event, basically between the first Dirty Harry film and the second one. And if I'm correct, the second one is Magnum Force, and I actually love Magnum Force. Everybody asks me, what's your favorite Dirty Harry film? Obviously, the first one's my favorite. But aside from the first one, I adore Magnum Force. Magnum Force has such a cool plot. And if I remember correctly, Magnum Force involves those police officers that are assassinating criminals that are basically beating the justice system. So, of course, in today's society, some would definitely express support for that. We're not going to get into that. But of course, in the 70s, this is definitely something you would not think of. In the 70s, this would be a terrific plot for a movie. So Magnum Force, aside from the first one, Magnum Force is my favorite, and I absolutely adore Magnum Force. Especially the opening of the film, it's terrific. If I remember correctly, in the beginning, an officer pulls over a car that's driving a mobster. The officer asks the driver for his license, and then comes back, and then boom, pulls out the gun and kills all three men in the car. That was a way to start a film. Now I did watch a walkthrough of this game again. I'm probably just gonna keep showing it because this is just so cool. This is basically on my display in my bedroom, along with several other video games that I have. I'll be honest with you. If I ever manage to get my hands on a sealed copy of this, and I manage to buy one, I'm not sure what I'll do with this one. Maybe I'll keep it. I mean, some would say you can keep you can keep an open copy and keep a sealed copy. I mean, why not? But who knows? Maybe I'll just give this to a friend. I don't know. But I find it a little bit, well, It is a little bit disappointing that I never played the game, but you know what? I saw the walkthrough, and you know what? I'm okay with it. And if I remember correctly, in the game, the way to replenish Inspector Callahan's health is by eating hot dogs. Basically learn how to video game. Replenish the character's health by eating food or collecting coins or whatever. I mean, remember in Super Mario, you would collect coins to improve Mario's health. Hmm. But in this game, the hot dog doesn't surprise me because again, the hot dog from that scene, "Do I Feel Lucky?" the bank robbery scene in the Dirty Harry film, and of course, one of the most inspirational and iconic quotes in American cinema. And you know what? Not just in American cinema, but one of the most iconic movie quotes in cinema. Period. Of course, the whole thing is written right up here. I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, I kind of lost track in all this excitement. But being that this is a .44 Magnum, the world's most powerful handgun, and it would blow your head clean off, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Of course, in the game it tells you you are Detective Harry Callahan. Now, is he a detective this one? Because in the movie, if I'm correct, his rank is Inspector. Now, some would say it's the same thing. I mean, I don't know. I really honestly don't know. We all know Harry Callahan. The way he breaks the cases. I mean, honestly, if Harry has to violate police protocol, then so be it. We all know the sort of police officer Harry Callahan is. I've seen the film many, many times, especially when he tells that lawyer or that DA that the law is crazy, especially after well, if you've seen the film, then you know what I'm saying. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, this particular quote, "Do I feel lucky?" Well, do you, punk? See, that quote is iconic, but I'm going to tell you something. It's not the best quote in the Dirty Harry series. The best quote in the Dirty Harry series is simply this: "Go ahead, make my day." That's the best one. And if I remember correctly, I think that's in a sudden. Is it in Sudden Impact? I'm not sure. It's hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I forgot which film that one was in, but it was not in the first one. Obviously, it was not in the second one either. But I do remember. Yeah, for the first time when I heard "Go ahead, make my day," honestly, to point a gun at somebody and say, "Go ahead, make my day," that right there is a very, very much a Clint Eastwood thing to say. I mean, at that point, Clint Eastwood was basically about to be at that point where he's a solidified cowboy and he's a solidified police officer. That's all I always say. Like, yeah, Clint Eastwood, he's been a cowboy, he's been a police officer, he's been a lot of things in movie roles. But go ahead and make my day. That's just, honestly, it's got to be my favorite catchphrase from cinema. I mean, and there's a lot of them. So yes, it is from Sudden Impact. So I'm correct. It was from the 1983 film. So it's 12 years after the release of the first. So, and that's actually a sequel, of course, in the Dirty Harry. So, of course, he faces a armed robber, and it's just basically, I mean, that whole scene was just completely insane. Now, it wasn't from the final Dirty Harry film. I don't remember exactly when the final Dirty Harry film was made, but it's interesting that Sudden Impact, you see the movie poster, the theatrical release poster, it's very similar to this. I think it has the same picture right here. So, yeah, it's got his face. It's got the bullet, right there, the bullet through the glass. But man, but if I'm correct, I believe the last Dirty Harry film was in 1988. That was the last one, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but that one, what's interesting about it, there's actually several actors in it that I know. I mean, I remember in one of the Dirty Harry films, Liam Neeson, I believe, was in one of them, if I'm correct. Again, it's been a while since I've actually watched them. I really would love to actually watch the Dirty Harry films again. I'm at that point where I don't buy DVDs. I don't even have VHS tapes. I mean, the only VHS tapes that I have are 3 James Bond films, and that's it. And again, I use them for display. But I could have sworn that Liam Neeson was in a Dirty Harry film. But oh, that's right. He was in Deadpool, of course. Yeah, he was. Oh, that's the last one. There you go. Deadpool was the last one. Yeah, the Deadpool. Except Deadpool is well, yeah, Deadpool is the final Dirty Harry film. So that one, of course, came out in 1988, and that one unfortunately didn't make too much money. It made $39 million off of a $30 million budget. It's only made $9, so it's unfortunate that film didn't do too good. But every single Dirty Harry film is unique in my opinion. But yes, Liam Neeson is in it as well. I don't remember exactly what his character is, but man, it was certainly good to see Liam Neeson in that one. So as far as the other as far as the other actors, I mean, not really any of them that I knew. Well, Jim Carrey. Well, believe it or not, Jim Carrey's actually in that one too. I didn't even know that. But I'm sure I must have realized it. I must have forgotten. But so it's obvious that my history with Dirty Harry speaks for itself. But going back from here, once again, look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? So now that I kind of gave my thoughts on it, now the game itself. Well, again, as I said, according to research, it's actually kind of basically set to where it's well, looking at the canceled game, I think it was actually the canceled game that was actually supposed that actually takes place between Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. So I think I must have gotten it mixed up. It's not this game that takes place between Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. It's the canceled game that was actually supposed to come out in 2007, 2008. It was supposed to come out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. It was intended to be published by Warner Brothers Interactive, and it was to actually continue the story from the original film. So I guess basically another serial killer must have come to town. I mean, if it says that it was to follow the same, well, it says it was to follow the same storyline of the film. So now it says, yeah, you're tracking down a serial killer. So basically, I feel like this game was basically supposed to be the story of the film. But here it says it was to take place between Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. So that must mean that the first part of the game, you're going after Scorpio, who is the antagonist of the first Dirty Harry film. And then the story continues after that. So, sorry, something distracted me. I think my cat's just banging on the door. I don't do recordings if my cat's in the room, or at least I hardly do, because he is going to be so disruptive, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so I apologize I got it mixed up, but again, I did watch the walkthrough, but it was actually the canceled video game that was actually supposed to follow the story of the original film, and then have another part of the story in it. But again, according to research, the game was to take place between Dirty Harry and Magnum Force, with the aim of being to give more depth to the character. So, man, now the trailer is still out there. I mean, I remember seeing the trailer when it first came out, and I thought it was badass. Of course, the trailer starts when Harry's in that little restaurant with that right before that famous bank robbery scene. He's in that little restaurant. I forgot what that restaurant's called, and of course, he's about to order the hot dog, and then, I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer, I suggest you do. And I know that it's on YouTube somewhere, but anyway, I don't know. I mean, according to this, the game was canceled actually in 2007, and because of issues involving the budget and apparently the schedule. So it's a shame the new one never came out. Now, would I have gotten a chance to play it? Definitely, but a lot of my friends that love the Dirty Harry films say that the game just seemed like it was a bad idea. Obviously, Clint Eastwood was actually set to reprise his role as Harry Callahan. He was not only going to voice Inspector Callahan, but he was going to provide his likeness. Now, of course, this game coming out, Clint Eastwood at the time was in his mid to late 70s, so I'm sure they would have used the likeness from 1971, from the 1970s Clint Eastwood, and he just would have provided the voice. But I don't know. I don't know what happened, honestly. I'm sure Clint Eastwood can give us a reason, but and this reminds me that there were rumors that Hollywood was planning on remaking the Dirty Harry films, and I just shook my head. I mean, it turned out to be false, thank God, because look, let's be honest with you, there is absolutely nobody in Hollywood could portray Inspector Callahan the same way Clint Eastwood did. Nobody can do a better job, honestly. If they were to remake the Dirty Harry films, well, if they plan on making all of them, first of all, they'd have to remake the first one and see if it works out good. It would be an absolute box office bomb, I guarantee you. If they were to remake the Dirty Harry film, it would be an absolute box office bomb, especially in today's generation. We're not going to get too deep into that, but again, in today's generation, it would. I don't know how soft the film would be. They could not do the stuff that you see in the original film. You couldn't see that in Hollywood today. Again, I'm not trying to make anything political. I'm just saying. I mean, everybody knows what I'm saying is true, okay? Seriously, think about it. That bank robbery scene, do I feel lucky? Could they really do it the same way they did it in the 70s? Absolutely not. Even if they could try to redo it without getting in trouble, without offending anybody, it still would not be good. because like I said, nobody, and I mean nobody, could be Inspector Callahan the same way Clint Eastwood was. And at this point, from what I understand, I really doubt Clint Eastwood would have allowed it, honestly. I doubt Clint Eastwood would have allowed Hollywood to remake the film. He's that powerful, so he could literally tell them no. Because from what I understand, he owns the trademark and everything associated with that character. So if somebody does anything with that character without his permission, well, Clint Eastwood's going to come after you. So either way, it didn't matter. Clint Eastwood would have said no. He would have said no, and even honestly, because I think he knows that if they remade one of his classics today, it would be an absolute box office bomb. Because again, the stuff you saw in that film in the 1971 version of Dirty Harry, I mean that's the only one, but let me rephrase it. What you saw in the Dirty Harry film, once again, what you saw, Hollywood could not do this kind of stuff today because of today's generation. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, not only the stuff you saw from the film, but of course, what Scorpio does. Scorpio hijacks a school bus full of children, holds a child by gunpoint, kidnaps a teenage girl. Yeah, you could not really. I mean, especially how dark it was in that film. They could not do this today. Not at all. So, but going back to the canceled video game, it seems that the video game really, honestly, would not have worked out. I almost have the gut feeling that the Dirty Harry video game that was supposed to come out in 2007, 2008, it would not have worked out. Now, I mean, that's really my opinion, but that's just my gut feeling. I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think a Dirty Harry game in 2007, 2008 would have worked out? If they were to actually come up with one today, would it be good? Honestly, probably not. Probably not. Now, the gameplay from this one, once again, if y'all want to see, I hope I'm getting a good view. Because again, I just have to put up my screen, so look at that. There it is. According to research, well, of course, the Smith & Wesson Model 29, or the 44 Magnum that would blow your head clean off, is obviously the main weapon in the game. But there's other weapons that Harry Callahan could use. I mean, it's like a James Bond game. Like, you start off with the Walther PPK with the silencer, but you can pick up other guns as well. Remember in 007 GoldenEye? Remember in multiplayer, the Moonraker laser? Yeah, good times, right? So and as I said, when in the game, the way to replenish Harry's health is by eating hot dogs. So that's a surprise because again, right? What does he do right before he stops he foils the bank robbery? He takes a bite out of the hot dog. So of course, a hot dog is iconic in the world of Dirty Harry. And sometimes I used to ask as a child, could those bank robbers not let Harry finish his lunch first? So there's like Harry Callahan, he couldn't be allowed to finish his lunch before dealing with the bank robbers. Apparently not. But the story of this game, once again, let me show it. I know I'm probably showing this stuff too much, but here you go. If you want to see it once again, look at that. So cool, man. Look at this. This really gives you from the pictures. This really gives you the vibes of the Game Boy. But again, this is the NES. This is way before my time. I mean, this game is 35 years old. At least it's about to be. It came out in December 1990, so it's about 35 years old. If you do the math to a T, since it came out in December 1990 and it's May 17th, 2025, this game is still 34 years old for now. But overall, yeah, it's close to being 35 years of age because it came out in late 1990. So the story in this one, well, it involves okay. Well, he is an inspector. Okay, he's an inspector, Dirty Callahan. He's a homicide detective. So he's a detective, but he's at the rank of inspector. Okay, just to clarify that. So in this one, he's actually pursuing a powerful drug lord, and I believe the drug lord's name is the Cobra or something like that, or the Anaconda. Again, I have notes in front of me, but if I'm correct, the drug lord's name is either the Cobra or the Anaconda or the Snake or something like that. But if I were to take a wild guess, I would say it's the Anaconda. And there's a huge drug smuggling operation that actually is uniting all the drug gangs in San Francisco, and they're all under his leadership. So this is basically like a monopoly sort of thing. The police, of course, are overwhelmed. They're not able to stop the distribution. They're not able to stop the mayhem and the chaos that is caused by the drug dealings and, of course, of the Anaconda. So who does the San Francisco police department turn to? Inspector Callahan. Because Inspector Callahan is that fearless man that is willing to take on the most dangerous that dares to invade the safety of the citizens of San Francisco. In other words, Harry is not afraid to deal with those dangerous men that even attempt to, well, cause mayhem in his city. So he goes after him, of course, like that. And the game ends with a showdown in the drug lord's secret hideout, which, of course, is on Alcatraz Island. Of course, it takes place on. The game has to end on Alcatraz Island, just like I think the end of the second installment of Battle Tanks, which was so cool. But of course, it has to end on Alcatraz. I mean, what else would you expect? And the soundtrack for this game, I will say, that's what I'll give it. But obviously, you imagine like the soundtrack from the film would be something or only interest to do so. But well, it's funny. According to some research that I did, the composers were given credit in the game and the instruction manual, but also in the back of the game's box. I mean, this is actually, well, from what I understand, this game is the only game to actually give credit to the composers in the back. So, I mean, if you look right here, Dirty Harry, copyright 1971, Warner Brothers, of course, because the film came out in 1971. Copyright 1990, Mindscape Incorporated. So I'm guessing Mindscape is the software that developed the game. Actually, no, it was actually developed by Canadian studio Grey Matter. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly. I mean, okay, Mindscape is the publisher, but Grey Matter is the developer. So, of course, the cover art is reused from the poster of Sudden Impact, as I said. Of course, this is on the NES. This is a single-player game. Well, it came out in North America in December of 1990. So, basically, the composers were given credit in the game, the instruction manual, but also on the back of the game's box, and this is the only NES game to actually give credit to the composers and have their names written on the box. The composers, music created by Steven Salmer and Elliot Delman. And this game made in Japan. Wow. That's why it says made in Japan. I'm guessing the cartridges were obviously made in Japan, right? I mean, the game was developed by a Canadian video game developer that was based in Ontario. It actually was established in 1985, but it was disbanded in 1997. Lasted only 12 years. And it basically dissolved due to a lack of funding. In 1995, a total of 75 employees for Grey Matter Incorporated. Man. So looking at these other games, okay, this company also developed a video game called James Bond Jr. Also a game called The Terminator, which came out in April of 1993, which was on the Super NES, which is the Super Nintendo. This company also developed WWF King of the Ring on the NES and the Game Boy. Man. So it also developed games, for the Super Nintendo, one of which was The Terminator. Of course, the first game it ever developed was called Techno Cop, which was released in 1988. And came out on the Genesis, I think, as well. It was on the Genesis and the on the Sega Genesis and several other systems, the Atari ST as well. I don't even know what that is. My knowledge of video games doesn't go that far, y'all. In 1995, this actually won NHL All-Star Hockey, NBA Action. Wow. And so the Amazing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin, that came on the Sega CD. So this software, of course, they didn't develop too much because again, they only lasted for about 12 years. The final game that they actually developed that actually was released was a game called The Crow: City of Angels, which came out in February of 1997. Came out on the PlayStation, the Sega Saturn, and the MS-DOS. MS-DOS. Operating system for x86-based personal computers, mostly developed by Microsoft. Yeah. Again, my knowledge in those things, well, they're honestly very, very limited. Very, very limited. So, just out of curiosity, And if you out there ever played this game, Dirty Harry for the NES, well, what did you think of it? If you did play it, what did you think? Did you actually play it when it first came out? Did you play it later? Like, tell me, let me know in the comments your story about this game, Dirty Harry on the NES, and tell me your thoughts. Tell me everything about it. Do you think that the Dirty Harry game that was supposed to come out in 2007, 2008, do you think it would have worked out? Why or why not? Were you looking forward to it? Why or why not? Have you seen the films? Do you like it? Why or why not? And specifically, let me ask you this: would you be in favor of a remake of for Dirty Harry? Why or why not? Or and do you agree with the fact that a Dirty Harry remake today would be an absolute box office bomb? And of course, please be sure to elaborate why. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. I intend on making more videos about particular video games that I own. Again, mainly this channel was about only gaming, but I thought I'd add a little bit more to it. I really care about my audience, and so far, those that have been kind enough to tune into my work, really appreciate y'all. So I'm actually gonna wrap up adding more to my Max Payne walkthrough. I'm hoping to add more soon. Some of the gaming footage that I've secured from the destruction of my other channel, which is unfortunate, but. Again, thank you all very, very much, and don't forget to leave a comment, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, also hit that notification bell. Got plenty of content for you to check out, and I'm going to be adding more soon. Thank you all very, very much. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.